All right. Hey, everybody. This is our first episode of Galaxies in Peril,
Yay.
tentatively named Custodians in the Dark, but we'll see how that works out. The team name is Custodians. This is our first episode. And yeah, do we want to do a round of introductions just in case anyone is watching this for the first time on the internet? I'll start off. Mark, I will be the GM. This is not through the Gauntlet, but we're all from the Gauntlet and been playing games together for a while. And yeah, I have a vague idea of what I'm doing, and I'm looking forward to finding out what happens. Rich, let's go ahead.
You bet. Hey, I'm Rich. I use the he, him pronouns. This is my YouTube channel. It's Mark's nice enough to let me do that hosting thing. And I'm the one who kind of connived everybody into playing this. So I'm very excited that Mark is excited. And I'm looking forward to Forged in the Dark Supers game. I mean, I was so looking forward to it that I bought the book. So
You what? What?
I don't buy a whole lot of books, friends. I'm not a person with like a gigantic bookshelf, so I'm excited to have this thing to go. That's me.
Cool, thanks. Let's do Andish.
Yeah, my name is Anders. I use the he, him pronouns. Yeah, we're not introducing characters yet, right? So, yeah, then I'm done.
Cool. Kai.
Hi, I'm Kai. I use they, them pronouns. And I was so excited about this that Rich and I began playtesting it before we even played. So I'm really down for this. Really excited to see what we can do by merging the concepts of blades with my favorite thing, which is comic books. So.
Awesome, thank you. And Stephen.
Hi, my name's Steven. My pronouns are he, him. And so I'm a big comic book fan, but I think I know the least of comic books from the rest of these guys. So yeah, you'll have to bear with me. Like we were talking before about Runaways. I vaguely know what Runaways is and some of the comic book background, but I couldn't name, people from it and stuff like that. So we'll see.
You are ahead of me because I could not name anyone from it. I have been reading comic books and such for decades. There was a big gap in the middle where I think a lot of big things happened that I missed out completely.
Oh yeah.
And then the MCU started up. I was like, oh yeah, right, comic books are cool. So yeah, my knowledge is deep in some parts and extremely zero in a lot of other parts. Look at that.
So that's a good thing. That's a good background to give. So I read comic books for a long time whenever I was younger, mainly Fantastic Four
Yeah.
and X-Men and that kind of stuff until like the mid 80s or so. And then I kind of dropped out of it because they were, from my opinion, they were getting very repetitive.
Mhm.
And I was in graduate school whenever a friend of mine said, "Oh, you've been reading the wrong comics," and he started slipping me like Sandman and V for Vendetta and that kind of stuff. And I'm like, these are so good. And I've picked up, you know, a few of the Marvel comics and things like that. I really like the alternate Marvel stuff that is, it's not Infinities, Marvel
Ultimates.
The Ultimates, that's it. I loved that series. Like Ultimate Galactus was awesome. And the first Avengers movie was the first two Ultimates Avengers books, right?
Oh,
And it was really good. So, except
nice.
a little bit darker,
Yeah.
and like instead of Hulk beating up Loki, he eats the guy, right? So, yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that
so that's
pretty
my
much mirrors
background.
my experience as well.
Yeah.
Cool. So I think I would like to do some extremely hard framing to start off with. And if you will trust me, we will engage the mechanics as needed when it's appropriate, and then we'll find out what happens as we go. So yeah, I'd love to just jump into it. Just for the audience again, we have safety tools in place. We have a list of lines and veils. We'll be using X cards slash the forward backwards thing, and open door as usual. We've all been playing together for a long time, and I feel like we're all real good about using those, so I'm happy about that.
Before the hard frame, should we introduce characters?
No.
Okay, great. Perfect.
Cool. And just again, for audience, I guess my GMing style is very building off of loose framework. There's no set plot or anything. I have a couple like beats that could happen, and if they don't, great, we play to find out. That said, hard framing. So like in kind of a cinematic way, we're going to start off at it's going to be nighttime. It's going to be the docks on the Hudson, is it the east side or the west side of Manhattan? And this is the scene that we've seen a bunch of times. It's loading docks, a bunch of containers, and as we come in, there are some burly looking guys, dressed in black earpieces and automatic weapons, clearly patrolling and guarding one set of containers in particular. And we follow one of the guys for a little while, and he turns a corner and runs into another guy dressed all in black, looking very similar. In fact, identical to him. Rich, what is the audience's first clue that the duplicate that he runs into is in fact remakes?
Oh, that is a great question. I think, are we framing like default, like comic book or like TV show?
I lean towards TV show, but I'm flexible.
Cool. I that helps me understand. I think the way that it's first communicated is there's like a musical stinger of like remixes around somewhere, but also probably the very stereotypical like flash of purple around her eyes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. And after a beat, he realizes that he's looking at himself, and something is terribly wrong, and he lowers his weapon, about to fire on you. How do you not get shot? What's the most badass move you can make to avoid getting killed here?
Let's see. She is not the greatest fighter, so see. I think she's going. Oh yeah. She's just gonna dodge the heck out of the way and sprightly spring out of range into the darkness is what she's gonna try to do.
Perfect. So yeah, he gets on his radio and says, we've got hostiles, we got intruders, converge on my position, and Nighthawk, you swoop in out of the darkness and take him down. How?
Yeah, so I think what we see on screen is, he steps forward into the light, on the radio and starts calling things in. And that's whenever a hand reaches out from behind him. And as soon as the radio clicks off, it grabs him by the mouth and pulls him back into the shadows. And do you want me to just narrate how he goes out?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we hear, a crack, and then we see, the him fall flat and then pull, we see that kind of tumble out of the shadows, and then, the limp body gets pulled back into the shadows.
Nice. Awesome. And this is, a pool of light from lighting, not from in-world lights. As we see a half dozen other guys kind of converge on this position, and his body is not there, correct?
That's right. His body's gone.
Yeah. And they kind of like go back to back, like looking around, trying to radio into him. And out of the shadows, very confidently, walks our giant slayer, Svava.
If I may,
Yeah, go for it.
I think as soon as everybody kind of converges in that area, all the rest of our team are now tied into their radio conversation via his radios.
Awesome. I love it. What does it look like when Svava confidently strides into this group of dudes with guns?
Yeah, she steps forward out of the shadows and kind of like casually just tells them, "You can lay down your arms now and surrender, or else." And she just cracks her knuckles.
And they do the thing where they just kind of like look at each other and open fire. What does that look like for you? Yeah, and then how do you take a lot of them out in the process?
Yeah, she dives, like rolls to the side, and just one of these, like a big packing crate. She just grabs it and throws it straight into the group of them.
Nice. And they go tumbling. And from behind, like there's another like you're kind of surveying your carnage smugly, and from behind, like there's a hand on your shoulder, and you turn and there's a larger guy, like not Hulk superpowered guy, but like this guy might be a fight for you. And he's like does the cracking the knuckles, crack the neck thing, and he looks like, although you just threw a crate into a dozen guys, he looks like he's not afraid to fight you, and that might be a little bit intimidating for you. And as the camera kind of like shows maybe a little bit of concern on your face, we hear a motorcycle engine revving. Devil Wolf, tell us how you launch yourself into the scene and help out here.
Gosh, the big guys here. I'm on a motorcycle, and she kickstands it and takes off the helmet. Her necklaces come out, one of them being, you know, a Christian cross, and like Tennant on Doctor Who, she just snaps her fingers, and this purple limnus opens up into like a ovoid shape, and this red hand just comes out and grabs the neck of the big bad guy.
Nice, I love it. What does do to him?
And so she says, "So we're playing touchy feely, are we? Do you want to go back where that hand is, or do you want to not?" And so she just gives him the option to either resist or to like.
Oh yeah, he's resisting. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then it's attempting to, I don't know, strangle him or knock him out, I guess.
Yeah, your call. What's it do?
How does he resist?
He like is he able to physically grapple with the he's trying to physically like pull himself out.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. And so like he's got both of his hands on the red demonic arm, and the arm just flings, and he gets thrown into the wall
Nice.
next to him. Lots of cracks, that kind of thing.
Cool. Can we see a short scene where the four of you kind of regroup and approach the container that you're supposed to be investigating?
Sure. I think first on the scene is going to be Nighthawk, and I think that we see him flip down from the top of the container, in front of where the doorway is, and steps forward to cover the back of Remix, as Remix is kind of coming, this direction.
And of course, we now see that Remix is shifting out of one of the other guards' looks to See, I did the thing where I ran into the guy that I looked like, and I keep doing.
It's fine. It'll get better. And I get back to back with you so we can cover the whole area.
Cool. What's Svava doing here?
She steps up to the container. Is this the one, right? And she just rips the door open.
Amazing. Yeah. Great. The container, the front of the container is off, and the camera sort of pans into it, and there's a little like pedestal inside, like right in the middle. If containers were lit, there would be dramatic lighting, but they're not. And there's kind of like a velvet cushion kind of thing, but there's nothing on it. And you were clearly looking for something that's not there. Devil Wolf, how do you react to this? Like, this is probably a big problem that it's not here.
I say, yeah. Well, the first thing I do is I'm like the hole in space still exists, and she's looking at it, and she's actually looking up at it like it's taller up than she's like, yes, I know I owe you. Fine, fine. And turns around and snaps her fingers again. And she says something like, well, this is right, bollocks. We've been given bad information on purpose.
And there's a voice again from above, farther above, that responds, nope, I have you exactly where I wanted you. It's a woman, and as you look up, she is descending in this sort of like cloud of green energy that sort of like lights up everything as she descends and like lands on top of the container, facing all of you. She is Asgardian Svava. You definitely recognize her. Dressed in green, long flowing hair, little thing there. And she is holding this large silver circlet and saying, looking for this. I'm afraid I can't let you have this. And just like lashes out with this like green energy, first hitting Devil Wolf because
Oof.
you're clearly this problem, and the energy just grabs you and tosses you through your portal.
No.
The portal seals up with like crackle of black Kirby dots.
No.
Svava, this is clearly what's her name? Aurora, is that the Enchantress?
Yeah, Enchantress, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have history with her, or what's your reaction?
I think I know of her, and I probably met her at some point, but it's not like we don't know each other.
Yeah. And she kind of like looks at you and says, I didn't think you were going to be a problem, and kind of does like a dainty finger thing. Little arcs of green energy come out and strike Nighthawk and Reminx. Their faces kind of blank over and turn towards you to attack. And
I'm just lunging after to punch her in the face.
Great. As they kind of move in and where you were, and she does this and stops you in midair and lifts you up and says, I didn't think you would be this easy to catch. I didn't think it would be even easier to destroy you, and just closes her fists. Smash cut to the coffee shop where the four of you are sitting around another woman telling you this story. She has blonde hair, casually dressed, has a latte, and she says, and that's how it's going to happen unless you do something different. Sips. This is Sophie, the variant Loki, who has come to visit you and tell you about what not to do in the future. And that's when the credits come up.
Nice.
Ooh, we need a theme song.
Yeah. Cool. So I think I would like to start off from here. We can go two ways. We can either have y'all talking to her further and kind of pulling apart some of that, or we can do some kind of rolling into it downtime stuff to get to know the characters a little bit more. What would be more interesting for you?
I think like a series of like introducing the characters to the audience would be
Awesome.
next in my mind, right? Like so
Yeah.
solo scenes or scenes where we're talking and it's defining who we are and stuff like that.
Cool. I love it. So let's do a these will be kind of flashback scenes from before this scene. I think I'd like to start with Nighthawk. Um, Nighthawk, are you secret identitied? Is your superhero persona completely separate from your millionaire persona?
It is. Yeah.
It is. Great. Um, is there anyone who knows that you're Nighthawk, or are you fully lost?
My family and their
Mhm.
associates, background kind of thing, support kind of personnel,
Yeah.
are well aware. I don't know if any of the other team members are. We can find that out during play.
Cool.
Yeah.
And your family is you're kind of a legacy, is that right?
That's right. Mhm.
Can you talk a little bit about what your family situation is?
Yeah. So, I was raised. The idea that I have is that I was raised by a family that protects this area of New York City, and that they try to make sure that you know bad things that happen are kept to a minimum, and extremely bad things um, are deviated somewhere else or dealt with. Um, and this has been going on. I'm not sure exactly how long. I know my grandfather was involved,
Cool.
um, but I think that's probably how my parents met. And um, I was trained, from a very young age. I knew immediately, and it was sort of a secret, like Santa Claus, don't tell anyone else about this. And then, but I was trained rigorously. What's new to the family is, I think the family has immense wealth,
Mhm.
and they use that to fund their protection uh, processes. But they've been able to get access to some variant of the super soldier serum.
Mm,
So I'm taking this now, but it hasn't come into effect. Um,
nice.
their belief is that um, I will be able to be a better protector, but all the other failures that occurred happened because people just wanted to immediately change. So this
Right.
is a very slow process. Right now, I don't notice much of a difference. Um, I'm still going through my same rigorous trainings, in the gym and that kind of stuff. And then after that, I have a lot of, homework where I'm doing analysis of what's going on around the town. And I think that's where my part uh uh in this kind of background would be, of us going to the shipping container, is it would
Mhm.
be, okay, I'm searching things out. I'm looking to see where the uh gangs all have their shipments coming in and what looks mysterious, what's hidden off the radar, that kind of thing.
Nice. I think maybe I'd like to see a scene with you working out at a gym. Maybe not necessarily the super gym, whatever. Um, maybe you have a Jack Duquesne as a contact who is also a millionaire. Would you like to have a scene with him, like playing racquetball or whatever rich people do?
Yeah. Um, so I think that this is in my, air persona, so not a
Yeah,
superhero persona.
as
And
Alexander
so
Simmons. Yeah.
yeah. So Alexander Simmons is my real name. So basically, and we are, so we're in a fancy gym. This is like
Yeah.
an exclusive kind of thing where, they have uh servants that wait on you and that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And, you break a sweat and you immediately wipe it off and toss the towel, and someone comes and grabs it like a yeah. And so we're chit-chatting, and I think that the audience can tell that it's not only is this a sparring of you know pickleball or whatever, but it's also a sparring of wits as we're talking to each other, as you see between hoity-toity people who are like, oh yes, and they're basically sparring with information that they know from society.
Yeah. So what is the little tidbit that Jack drops on you that indicates that he knows a little bit more than he should?
So he drops something about a case that I've been working on, specifically telling me, you know, some of the background about where he knows I've been sticking my nose into things.
Yeah.
So he's like, youngster, you shouldn't be doing this. You should know better. I know you're doing it. That means they know you're doing it too.
Nice. Yeah. What's the thing that you've been poking into? Not related to the intro.
Yeah.
Is it the hospital ransomware thing?
Oh, that's a great point. So one of the
Cool.
projects that I have put down is that there was a cyber thief that had ransomwared one of the local hospitals. So I've been
Nice.
trying to trace down that cyber thief um, via the traces that they've left in the system.
Nice. Yeah, so I think Jack opened up like, how is your charity work with the hospital going?
Oh, very well. I mean, you have to protect the seemings, of course, and maybe one day they'll name a wing after my family.
I'm surprised they haven't already. I just can't get myself involved in things like that. That's what we hire people to do, right? To solve our problems for us, and we get to take advantage of the amenities afforded to us by our position.
Of course, but we have to keep up appearances. And if it doesn't look like we are involved, then there will be whisperings that it's not, that the accolades are undeserved.
Of course, my boy, but you understand that there is a difference between looking like you're involved and actually being involved.
Of course, I'd never overstep such bounds.
Well, just be sure to keep your nose clean.
Oh, always. And are you suggesting that you're here to help me clean my nose?
Perhaps. And he just gives you a knowing nod.
And I think that's the point where he scores like the winning.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Remakes. How about do you have any Skrull contacts that you check in with, or are you kind of on your own?
I think for now Remix is on her own. Yeah.
Cool. And you're the proprietor of the coffee shop, right?
I am.
Caffeine Hazard.
Kills me.
There's a picture of Caffeine Hazard.
Yes, I see that.
There. I picked the coffee shop in the right neighborhood and just gave it a new name. Cool. Who's your favorite customer?
Oh man, who's my favorite customer? Let me look in see who our contacts are and see. Nope. Jessica Jones is my favorite customer.
Of course. And she is she's still an investigator. So she's on a case, and she's actually coming in after a long night to get a pick-me-up to get her through the rest of the morning. And you recognize this. Does she know who you are, or are you still just what's your name to other people? Is it still Remakes?
No, I think she would be known as just Narrow.
Narrow.
Yeah. Narrow would be how most people would call Remakes. And I think she's got a persona she holds in the coffee shop. Jessica Jones being a great detective may have figured things out, but Nero, aka Reminx, hasn't said anything yet. Yeah.
Is Nero interested in what Jessica is working on, or do you try and keep that separate?
I mean, that's our thing. So
Yeah.
she bring over a cup, refill her cup and say, what are you working on, Jess?
Uh, just some stupid import stuff. Some doing some checkup on some paperwork from this French company. Super boring, but it pays.
Oh, it does sound boring. You usually do more exciting stuff, don't you?
Yeah. Sometimes exciting does not pay the bills. In fact, most of the time it doesn't.
And then she'll look over at the stuff to see if Jess is lying. And just try to skim, and it's gotta be something more interesting.
Let's engage the mechanics a little bit here. See if you get any information off of this. It sounds like you're trying to mingle with her. Is that?
Yeah, I'm definitely trying to mingle.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so let's make let's start off with 2 here.
Yeah.
Probably not worth doing any devil's bargains rating yet. Just see where we get.
Sure. I'll not ask for a devil's bargain.
I mean, you can if you want to. I'm happy to.
Tempted, but yeah, we'll start low stakes. So I'll just throw my
cool.
Got a 4.
A 4. Cool. Yeah, so you're trying to find out if there's something more to this.
I think she's lying to me.
Yeah. You do it with complication, pretty much. You can tell that she is honest about the job that she is doing. She is definitely holding back the importance of it. There's probably a larger thing that this is a part of, but I think when she kind of sees you looking over her shoulder, she does like the why you in my business kind of stuff.
Sorry. We got some other customers to take care of anyway. And try to extricate herself.
Okay. I'm curious what Rain does during the day.
Well, I chose reporter, right?
Yeah.
So probably like investigating or interviewing people and stuff like that.
Yeah. Who are you? Are you a reporter for someone in particular? Are you freelance?
I'm freelance. I'd like to have a respectable paper, but that doesn't always pay the bills.
So what's the current story?
Ice cream truck gangs.
Ice cream truck gangs.
Ice cream trucks are pretty popular, bringing a lot of money. And so like much like taxi cabs, there's like areas that you might stake out or something like that. And there's been reports of them, coming in and saying like, if we want to keep your business in our route, to bring the kids along or something like that, then just some bizarre gang activity, I guess. Most people are like, is that even real? So I'm the one that gets to investigate it because
Nice.
People are just like, what?
So, who are you interviewing today about that?
Well, I think she'd be at the place where she's like looking up at one of the potential quote unquote gang bosses.
Oh,
and
nice.
And is in his office and has just laid down an accusation, and is holding out the audio recorder for his response.
Yeah. So this is I think I'd like the office to be in the same neighborhood as the coffee shop. It's kind of like
Sure.
in a rundown-ish building, but it's got the modern sort of
It's an old firehouse, so they have room
yeah,
for their vans or whatever.
yeah. And it's got like but this inside is like done up like a startup, basically like like bamboo floors and big
Oh, okay, yeah,
windows.
sure.
So it looks rustic on the outside, but very fancy
Right.
inside. And he just kind of relaxes back in his chair. It's kind of like, you can't just go throwing around accusations like that. I mean, you can, but what's the point? What do you care anyway?
So you're not denying
I'm not saying nothing.
there are people in this neighborhood that don't like being pushed around, and a story like this may work its way to the wrong ears, and if it's true, then you could be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I suppose I could be if it was true. How's your espresso?
We're at the coffee shop?
You're at his office, but he's gotten you a little cup.
Oh, got me a little cup. Okay. I'm like, uh I'm holding on to it, and I'm like, minuscule, like, your morality, or, and then she implicates the crotch, this, you know.
I like you. Anything else you wanted today?
Um, hmm. Maybe I could try doing like a magical glowing eyes thing that might make him momentarily tell the
Ooh,
truth or something like that.
yeah, we could try that.
Okay.
Let's take a look at your powers. Um, is it so? Do you think that is something that so
I'm
describing in
thinking
the
a tune, yeah,
yeah? What is the effect that you're trying to achieve?
to get him to admit on the recording that uh he's doing something illicit.
Okay, cool. So is this the eye trick? Is this like an intimidation thing, or are you doing like a Jedi mind trick on him?
Hmm. Um, where are we on safety for mind control? Is it off our limits?
Um, it's a line against others.
Oh, okay. Well, then I won't be doing that then.
Yeah.
It'll be intimidation then. Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'll allow, some, like, the font bubble changes into something a little more uh demonic in the voice, and I'm
Nice.
like something like, this is your last chance before things get worse for you.
Cool. Um, Sweet. That sounds like command then, maybe.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome.
Can I get the link to the? Oh, it's on the safety tab, isn't it?
Yeah, it's on safety there.
Okay.
And I just realized I had Enchantress mind control people in the preview in the opening scene. Totally messed that line. Sorry.
Okay. Um, she'll push herself. So
Cool.
can I do that? Take 2 resilience for an extra die.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Oof.
Ooh.
A 1 and a 2.
1 and a 2.
Okay.
Um. Yeah. So you do the glowy eye thing,
Yeah.
and he again, like he's been leaning back, kind of casually taking you in, and he like straightens up a little bit, leans forward, and he reaches in under his shirt and pulls out his little medallion. It's a little it's not a pentagram exactly, but it's that
Mm-hmm.
sort of aesthetic.
Right.
It's like, I heard about folks like you. I don't believe in any of that, but I got protection of all kinds just in case. So why don't you get the hell out of my office? And I don't ever want to see you again. And if I do, things are going to go worse because you're not the only one who can tell people things. You know, you can call the cops on me. They don't care. They like getting paid too. So run along, little girl. Take your glowy eyes with you.
And she smiles, at least having him admitting to having cops on the take,
Yeah.
and says, "The hell indeed." Um, and she walks out. You know, she's wearing like jeans and like the picture in the sheet, right? Like she's wearing jeans and a jacket and all that. And uh, she'll say something like, "I hear there's a heat wave coming. Business is going to be big." And then she walks out.
Nice.
I don't know what all that means, but there we go.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Right.
Svava, you're a bodyguard. Did we decide you're kind of watching over the coffee shop as well, or do you have other stuff going
Yeah.
on?
Yeah, I don't think a coffee shop needs a bouncer generally, but
Yeah.
you know, if there's trouble, I'm around.
Cool. Um, pull up that. Second. Great. How did you get in with Naro?
I think, huh. Um, I think I think it's random chance. Like I traveled to New York to for some reason. Just
Mhm.
I wanted to visit Midgard or actually we're doing the MCU
Yeah.
continuity kind of. So I'm traveling the world, not content to stay in Norway. So I arrived here. I went into the coffee shop, and I think we kind of like started talking, got along well, and things kind of went from there. I must have been in New York for at least a year since I've had some run-ins with the people who live here. So I figure we kind of gradually realized that we were in kind of similar in the same business
Yeah.
kind of, and
Game recognized game. Yeah.
yeah.
Aliens gotta stick together.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, or maybe something happened and we both went to act on it and realized that, oh, but you're, oh, okay.
nice. So yeah, let's have a little closing time scene between you and Naro, just to establish a little feel for the relationship.
Cool. So I think like Jessica Jones had been there and I think she's leaving, and me and her, we're kind of, we know about each other, and it's
Mhm.
kind of this a little bit standoffish, like who's stronger, that sort of thing, like a little
Nice.
bit of attitude there. But you know, like yeah, we're closing, time to go. So
Um, yeah. Naro, what do you and Swava do, like when the shop closes up?
Oh wow. How late do you think we close? I The last time I did anything coffee related was the video game Coffee Talk, which seemed to be open 24 hours.
It's a coffee shop in like downish, midtownish New York, so probably late, like not midnight, but probably late.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Not midnight, late, like
Yeah, 10 or 11.
Yeah.
is this midweek or weekend? Sorry, I keep asking questions instead of answering yours.
Let's say it's Friday.
Slava, do you want to go out to that club that those other people were mentioning?
Yeah, sure. Just pack things up here first, and I like putting up the chairs and that sort of thing, like putting things away.
Of course. Yes. Sorry. Yes. And Nero will move away from the counter and start quickly trying to help clean up. She'll glance around to see if anyone is walking past, and then she like Noodle stretches out her arm to move a couple things, and she's kind of showing off for Slava, but also cleaning, so I can't call her on it.
Another question I had, curious about who's financing the coffee shop? Is that Alexander, or does Svava have some gold stashed away somewhere?
That's a great question. We're saying that it's the team's place and she operates it, or do we want to say
so,
that
yeah.
it's okay, cool. That helps.
I think Alexander doing it makes sense if
That makes
I
sense to
showed up
me.
there, if I came in later.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
We don't
I would
have
like
to turn a profit.
Yeah, exactly. It's a charity project. I would like to get the four of you together somehow. What would that look like? And
Raise
I
at the
guess
club.
I guess this is where we find out, like, if you all know that Alexander is Nighthawk, or if you know him as Alexander and work with Nighthawk, or how does that work for y'all?
I like that.
I mean, if he's financing the coffee shop, then it's very weird if we don't know. I mean, very weird doesn't mean bad, but
Nighthawk could be financing the coffee shop through
That's
shell
true.
corporations. So it really depends story wise whether or not you guys want to know, and whether or not you want me to know. Yeah.
If you don't want us to know, Stephen, I completely I'm completely open to that. But I'm saying right now, I will set up a project to learn who actually is Nighthawk.
So I think it would be super cool if Naro has actually like impersonated or followed me to figure out what the hell I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's up to you whether or not I know that or not, or you've confronted me about it. But I think you're completely in the know because you've been able to infiltrate that with your abilities.
Nice. I like it. And
Yeah.
Nero for a scroll is pretty bad at keeping secrets. So I think that Nero has confronted, like, by the way, Alexander, I know who you are. And she does the little domino thing. And
Awesome. And in that case, if you want to, that could have happened in front of the rest of them too.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what happened then? Can you recap that?
Yeah, so I think the recap is that Reminx followed me and was able to infiltrate like people in the know, like the support staff that my family has and that kind of thing, and figure out what the hell was going on. Followed me as Nighthawk to Alexander Simon's location and was able to put two and two together. This is who Nighthawk is. And then of course was like taunting me with that in front of the other two. And I think when confronted with that, I make it clear that if this information, Nighthawk is like, if this comes out, I know where it came out from, and I'll go down, my family will go down, and that includes you. Just so you know, there's information from all of you that would prevent you from being able to operate in this town again. That's not a threat. That's just, I'm just laying out the costs of knowing this.
I really wish that there'd been some kind of agreement before I knew this, because I can't not know it now.
Well, you made the decision to follow. I wish I'd
Right.
known that you were digging into that, and then I could have presented you with a decision.
Fair. Okay.
Cool. So I think I would like to kind of pop out a little bit and talk about the first mission or expedition, I guess. And I think right now there's a few little threads we can pull, and I'm curious what you all feel like you would like to pull. Which thread you would like to pull there? So I'm kind of assuming the first one will be an expedition, which is choose a part of the world to flesh out. Which maybe I'm assuming is going to be local because we're starting off low tier. So is there anything as a group that you would like to explore?
So specifically, I'm intrigued by this opening scene that we had with Sylvie, right? And I
Yeah,
would
yeah.
like to push more along that path to see where that leads us. I assume that we've already been making some investigations in whatever that crown diadem thing was.
Mhm.
So we recognize that, and then we would push into Sylvie's background as well to see how
Okay, cool.
trustworthy they are.
Yeah,
What do the rest of you think?
I think Sylvie. I think it is. You know who Sylvie is. Like, you know that she's the Loki variant. So that part is not a mystery to you, and you know that you can trust her about as far as you can trust a Loki.
Right. Sava would probably know that better than the rest of us.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's how you know.
Yeah. What other threads do you all want to pull on?
I like that one. That's pretty great. It's a good start.
I'd like to know, like on screen, like how you came to Earth remix.
I got to figure that out.
Yeah.
So I think the things that you know from Sylvie are that no, she described the thing that happened. It was at some point in the future. She witnessed it and was able to travel back to some previous time before now to kind of like meet up with y'all and say, like, I think this is how you all met. She walks into the coffee shop. Svava's like, oh, Loki, and she lays it out, and it's at some indeterminate point in the future. I think she also makes it clear that she's only telling you for completely selfish reasons as well.
What do you get out of this?
I have my reasons. There's really not your concern why. I just consider it a public service.
Look, none of us here are stupid, and we all understand that you have to have a reason behind this, just like we have a reason to go after this. So you've been upfront with us. I think it's time for all the cards to be on the table, and you tell us what your part in this is, because otherwise, you could be the one that tips off Enchantress.
And she gives Svava a side look and asks, "Is that the way I operate?"
She's not going to tell us anything, at least not anything that we can trust.
Then can we trust that what she saw was real?
Of course
Absolutely not.
Wait, is this one of those things where if I ask you if you're telling the truth, one of you is lying puzzles? I'm very bad at those.
One of us is usually lying, but I assure you at this point, everything that I've described to you is true.
not. So I'd like to
And
engage the mechanics.
I would like for that not to happen.
I'd like to
Yeah.
engage the mechanics, and I tell her, in order for us to make sure that you get what you want out of this situation, we need to know what that is. And I think that would be a sway.
Yeah.
And I will also push myself,
Cool.
get an extra die.
That's 2 dice there. Yeah.
I've got a 4.
A 4. Great. So this is just investigation, or what's the word for it? Gathering information. So you want to know what she gets out of it.
Or at least what she would tell us in order to make sure that she gets the goal she's looking for. Yeah.
Yeah, she says, what I'm getting out of it is the lack of interference. Although you do not end up well in this situation, you do cause certain complications that make it much more difficult for me. Let's just say that Aurora and I are not on the best of terms, and I would prefer to handle things my own way.
How much time do we have?
That's an interesting question that cannot be answered in a way that would be meaningful to you.
In other words, she doesn't know.
Or if she tells us it's going to trigger the thing that she's trying to stop, it's
The
time
Asgardian,
travel is just screwy.
listen to the Asgardian always. Anyway, this has been a lovely chat. I know where to find you if I need to talk to you more. And she leaves a big tip.
I look at who actually is the owner? Is it Remix or Svana of the coffee shop? Who runs it? I'm sorry.
Remix.
Yeah.
Remix.
Peril runs it. Yeah.
Yeah. I look at the money or whatever, and I'm like, aye, that's a wooden nickel for you.
The Remix has no idea about that phrase, and so she picks up the money and she still spends.
So, what part of the world would you like to flesh out further?
Where the scene was taking place at the beginning, like the docks, I guess,
Oh.
where the container was. Like
Yeah.
knowing more about that area, like who's there, who's running it, what other shady stuff's going on.
Cool. The way the expeditions are set up baffles me a little bit. So the goal, I guess, would be to discover, because they're not like Blades scores, right? Where you're like, do this thing, get this guy, steal this, kill this person. It's more like explore, which feels like it has less of a concrete, you did the thing. I'm still working out how to handle that.
So let's set the goal right now to be a little bit more concrete about it,
Yeah.
to find out the lay of the land around where that container was and who has control, like who the guards were and all that kind of stuff. That makes it
Great.
more
Yeah.
concrete, maybe, to deal with.
Yeah. Who controls the shipping yard? And what was the second part you said?
Who the guards were,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
what the lay of the land was, and who the antagonists were that Loki mentioned, Sylvie mentioned.
Awesome. I love that. Sweet. So, and I guess we will look at the approach. It's the same blades types: assault, deception, and stealth, occult, social, and transport.
So can this be gather information and not the beginning of the mission, or have we passed that?
It could be. This is where I'm still a little bit mushy on the structure of the missions, because it feels like the information gathering bleeds into the actual mission itself. If the mission is,
so our mission
find
is
this
to
out.
gather information.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Because we're not doing a heist. Sorry.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So what's the approaches again?
Assault, deception, stealth, occult, social, and transport.
You see, those are heisty things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but I mean, if we're sneaking around and that sort of thing, then it's stealth. If we're trying to like bribe people or squeeze them for information, then it's probably social.
If we're going
If
to
we're trying to
demons,
go undercover, it's deception, that sort of thing. Sorry, I talked over you.
no, I'm sorry. I was going to say, if we're going to demons to find out the information, that would be occult.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the transport?
Yeah, that one's
cargo.
always
hard. I would almost say transport might be run some cargo of our own through the docks.
Kudos to
Nice.
you. That's very smart.
Ah, clever.
Let's do that. Let's do some international shipping and receiving. I don't know. Never mind. Interesting.
How much do you want to put on the table? I mean, are we going to be shipping coffee supplies and stuff like that? So if it gets traced back to us, caffeine hazard might go away. Might get firebombed.
Maybe someone's delivering like an artifact to me from, say, Ireland or Scotland or something like that. I don't know.
Want it to be a real artifact?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, is this well beyond? Like, I don't know where, if this is completely new territory.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. It could be. You said you're from Norway, Andish. Maybe there's like something from your home is being shipped, or.
Yeah, I mean, New Asgard is in Norway canonically.
Okay. So
I think I feel like transport. If we're trying to find out information, then transport isn't really what we're doing. That would be the cover, and then we're actually doing deception.
Right.
I have to tell you, I had this image where you said, delivering a holy relic from New Asgard. The thing that popped into my head was, we get a shipment from the gods of like this holy relic, and when we end up opening it up, it's like a PlayStation controller or something like that. Sorry, just off the cuff, I was like, that's crazy. Okay. So yeah, I think it might be a little bit difficult to make the entire approach transport, but that could be one of the methods, hiring them and getting information that way.
It gives us a reason to be there, but like the goal of what we're doing isn't taking thing or person from place A to place B.
Yeah, so I think it would probably be deception, stealth, or social. Are we trying to hide, are we trying to sneak in and pretend like we're one of the dock workers? That would be deception. Stealth would be trying to find out information without anyone knowing that we're there. And social would be going to people who work there or searching data to find out of what's going on.
Yeah. And I mean, we could do assault if we're like kicking down doors and refreshing the officers looking for information, but I don't think that's the approach we want to take.
That's an interesting thing. We could put ourselves as, what's the right word? As the muscle. Like right now, we know there's a gang involved. If we could find the gang, we could do an assault on that gang, and now we're the muscle that's there. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like stealth or deception are the ones that are most interesting.
So I would
Maybe.
suggest that if we're going to use deception, that remakes heads that up, right? Because that would be great for you. If we're
Yeah.
using stealth, that might be me.
Yeah.
And I don't have a preference which way we go.
I would love to see the two of you arguing. You're like, no, deception. And the other like he's like, no, stealth, just back and forth or something like that. Cool.
Fine, you can use deception, and I'll be there with stealth to swoop in whenever you fail.
Ooh, snap.
Oh, okay. Great.
Cool. And the method of deception is going to be,
I look like them.
yeah, looking
This
like
is where you first meet that brute that you're going to
Exactly.
ooh.
So remix is basically going undercover as a member of the guard, that sort of thing, trying
Mhm.
to, and the rest of us are backup, basically. I think maybe Rain is doing like some. Oh, sorry, we shouldn't plan this out too much.
Yeah. Have
Those
you
are
ever
method-
run Blaze? That's not how it goes.
Yeah, it's weird.
Get it together.
I'm a player now. It's different.
I don't need to know nothing. Cool. So I think that leads us to the engagement roll, right?
Yeah.
Plan seems simple and bold. You take a +1 for that. Doesn't seem like it's complex. Does it expose or take advantage of a vulnerability? Them not knowing that shapeshifters are a thing, probably taking advantage of that. I don't think we have friends or contacts. Is there a high? I don't think they know you're coming, so I don't think there's any chance of interference. So it sounds like 3 dice for engagement. Does that sound right?
Yeah. That's what I counted.
Okay,
They're
cool.
probably a higher tier, right? Since we're
Yes.
tier 0.
Oh yeah. What tier are they?
Doesn't matter because as long
Yeah.
as they're higher than us, then that's
Yeah.
a negative.
Yeah, cool. So Rich, you want to roll 3 dice to get us a?
Would
Is
that
it
still
3
be
or
3?
is
I
it
think it's
2?
2.
Oh, sorry, 2. You're right.
Okay. Cool.
Yep.
Here we go. Oh my God.
Woo!
Snake eyes.
All right.
Get ready to make some
that-
XP, friends.
That
You're
is
welcome.
a desperate position. And what went wrong?
Is this a repeat of the same scene at the beginning that you bump into the exact same one you're copying?
Oh no. No.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. Cool. I think that is good enough to go on. And conveniently, we're at about an hour and a bit afterwards. So let's take our first break and we'll jump into the mission when we get back. Cool. So we are starting our deception mission at the docks in a desperate situation with Naro. Something went wrong. So I'm going to ask Naro these things. What time of day are you going out to do this?
Oh, freaks come out at night.
Yeah.
There's a song and everything.
And who is Naro trying to impersonate?
The same guard from our cold open.
Cool. Yeah. What where is Naro entering the shipyard?
It'd be like skirted along the dock, so water to right hand side.
Nice. Cool. So I think so you've got the face and clothes all put together, and skulking along the rows of containers there, and the I think you are first met with. So I guess first question is, are you basing the appearance of the guard on someone you saw or from the description that Sylvie gave you?
Well, I blew this roll, so I
Yeah,
figured the description's good enough.
cool, awesome. Yeah, so I think the first person you run into is it's not someone dressed like that, but someone that looks kind of like a supervisor. It's got like a gray overcoat, and just gives you a look. Says, "I'm sorry. Who are you with?"
Look down. I'm with,
It's on your jacket, right?
yeah. What's them?
Give me your card. Swipe card.
Must be it by other pants. I don't even have my wallet.
And this is just like a normal looking average older gentleman, and he's like giving you a look and backs away, and he doesn't have the security comms. He has like a walkie talkie, and she's like, you stay right there, because like I think we got someone in section 8. Send someone by. What'd you say your name was?
Tim. Hey, listen, this is just a mix up. I work here.
Who do you work for?
These guys. They just hired me. I'm a temp.
And behind him you can see a couple of guys who do look like they are a little bit heavier, walking towards you.
Okay. Are they wearing similar clothes? Like, are they part from?
Yeah, they're dark clothes, and they don't have automatic weapons, but they do have sidearms and the usual accoutrement.
Nero's going to push it. Hey guys, help me out here. I forgot my ID badge.
Awesome, I love that. Let me get the remix there. Yeah, they walk up, and one of them is on the comms, and they both have their hands on their pistols. They say, "We need to see some ID."
Just told you I don't have any. What are you guys, stupid?
You're gonna have to come with us.
Nah,
one of them
I'm
comes
gonna
around.
take off and run. I'm out of here. I know when to bail.
Cool. Let's see if you can get away or not. What do you feel like this falls under?
I really feel like I'm gonna gracefully try to adroitly, and maybe if I have to dive into the water, I'll do that. So I'm gonna try to finesse my way the hell out of here, I guess. Although it might be prowl, but I'm gonna say it's finesse, and you can just set a higher difficulty number or
Cool.
affect my effect.
Yeah, I think that sounds fair. And none of your powers are coming into play here, I don't think. I'm just trying to get away.
I am just trying to get away. Yeah.
Cool. Would you like to push yourself or take a devil's bargain?
I would like a devil's bargain.
Cool. Anyone have any ideas?
Someone notices you right? Like one of the other people in the gang that we saw being not the guy you're impersonating, but like somebody else.
Oh, it saw me shift into?
Um, yeah, I guess I'm just trying to do like you draw unwanted notice is what I was trying to figure out.
Mm.
What
Do you
about?
think?
Oh,
Do you
go
think
ahead.
Naro is not in control of himself enough to accidentally shift out of their disguise?
So when Naro gets freaked out or stressed, they drop to scroll.
Yeah.
Sure.
Or is that not what you were thinking? Okay, cool.
That sounds terrible. I mean,
Okay, I think that's on the table then. What were you saying, Stephen?
I was going to suggest they have, because you walked into a secure area, they have ID'd you,
Mm.
so they could, whatever this persona is, they can track you down until you shift persona.
Ooh.
Ooh, interesting.
Andesh, do you have anything?
You talked about diving into the water, so maybe I was thinking about connecting that to the shape shifting in some way, like, but if you don't want them to see you shifting shape, then that's not really a thing. They maybe you're under the water long enough, like they stand there watching, you're under the water long enough that they figure some things up. It's not just a regular person diving into the water.
Mm.
Interesting.
I would also put on the table when you go to dive into the water, you don't hit the water. You dive like onto a pier or something that is there. You misjudge where you are.
Oh my god, that's great.
I mean, also, isn't the Hudson famously like disgusting polluted?
Yeah, I think
That
that's
could be,
regardless. That's gonna be.
Are there ships on the Hudson?
Yeah.
What if you dive? What if you dive into like a ship, like a small?
Yeah.
You know, you think you're going into the water, but you dive into a ship instead.
Well,
I
that's
like
telling
that.
you what happens, right? Like if we're doing a devil's bargain, this has to be
That's
something
true.
that can happen no matter what happens.
Yeah. So he can still get away and dive into something that is not the water, basically.
Yeah, dove into something not the water sounds
Cool.
appropriately terrible. I like it.
Is that what you want to go with?
Yeah, that's what I want to go with for my devil's bargain to get me another die.
Awesome. So that looks like it gives you 2 dice.
2 dice. Whew. All right. A 4 is my best.
4. Great.
The second die paid off.
It did. Cool. So 4 in desperate means that you do it with a consequence, severe harm, serious complication, or reduced effect. Yeah, and I think that complication is, in fact, you you do manage to, like, the guy goes for your arm to zip tie you or grab you or whatever, and you just like twist away, and you're like, suckers, and just dive over the edge, and you didn't realize that that was not into the river. That was just another that was like jumping over railing to a lower part of the shipyard, and it's like 15 20 feet probably, and I think that's going to be, I think something's going to snap. I think that's going to be level 2 harm. Would you like to resist it?
Yes.
Cool.
I'd like to resist that.
It's probably going to be prowess, I'm guessing.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're in desperate situation. So
And Mark
rolls.
XP.
Yeah, Mark XP. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Just making sure that I'm following it. All right.
Yeah, I think so.
Desperate action. All right. I am going to. Everything's the same for me, so I will resist it with my 2 dice. And then just to make sure, if you resist level 2 harm and succeed, then it's a level 1 harm. You don't resist the whole thing, right?
That's an
That
excellent
depends.
question.
At least in Blades, that depends on how gritty you want the game to be. If you want
Yeah.
to tilt more towards like action adventure, then you can resist it outright. If you want it grittier and like more grim and hard, then like resisting damage, you just reduce it a bit.
I think this is mishap damage, and I think it's resisting the full thing is good.
Okay, so I will take a 1 dime to less effect, right? I got a 5, so it cost
got a
me
5.
1 resilience.
Cost you 1 resilience, and so you'll take no harm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Cool. What does it look like when you? What does that resistance look like?
I think Nero dives off the side, sees it, lets out a little irk, and then shifts a little bit to where she bounces a couple of times. And that's how she doesn't get jacked up or hurt too bad.
Cool. So y'all have comms, so y'all know that this is going on. How does the rest of the team respond to this?
Yeah, I'd like to step in because I kind of said, once the deception goes south, I'm going to stealth in. So I think that's literally what I'm going to do. Is I've kind of been sitting around. I want to engage the powers mechanic a little bit.
Yeah.
To see exactly how that works, because I don't know how that works.
Me neither.
I have some. I think we have a few mastered powers, and we can talk through it.
Yeah.
And one of them is hide and move silently. So since there's no cost to that, it doesn't mean I just do it.
You still have to roll for it. Yeah.
I have to roll for it, but I don't have to spend to roll for it.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So I think I have.
And I think the like fictional effect is that like you do sneak and move silently regardless.
Fantastic.
The effect of that is what the roll is determining.
Yeah. Okay. So, and I also have, as a mastered, is some pre-built generic gadgets like smartphone and that kind of stuff. So I think what I'm trying, and a drone. So I think what I've got is I've got a laydown of the overall area that we were trying to sneak into. So therefore, I'm going to slip in and sneak silently to try to, while Remix is causing a distraction, I'm going to slip past the security.
Nice. And where are you trying to get to?
I'm trying to get basically to probably into a headquarters or something like that, where they would have a computer that I could just download information from and then slip back out and see what's within that.
Cool. Yeah. There's probably like an office in like one of the temporary buildings there.
Exactly.
You can just slip into there. Cool. That definitely sounds like a prowl to me, unless you have other ideas.
I think that's a prowl.
Cool. Would you like to push or take a devil's bargain?
Okay, so here's a question. I have Battleborn, which is thrice per game session during a fight. I can reduce harm from an attack or push myself or something like that. I don't think this is a fight.
No, this is not a
because
fight.
I think if Remix had turned around and like fought with the guys, then that would be in the middle of a fight. But okay, so second part is, can I get help from Remix by causing the distraction?
Happily.
Sure, yeah.
If I can, I will.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I regret nothing!
Yeah, and I think that looks like Guy's going to check more where she's going.
And then next part is what's left that I can do. I've gotten help, so I don't think I can push myself, but I can get a devil's bargain?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
So let's see what the devil's bargain looks like.
Thoughts?
You find that one of your companies is involved.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
My thought was for a devil's bargain is what if they don't, the organization here doesn't know who I am, but some other organization is able to finger me, like Duquesne, I think you mentioned, or someone, whoever thinks that would be cool. Yeah.
So that sounds like it would mean that someone would catch you even if you're successful in not getting caught. I'm not sure if that would necessarily work.
I don't think it would be catch me. I think it would be able to trace me.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you think that doesn't interfere with your goal of the roll.
What would interfere is if it's this local group,
Okay, cool.
but if it's some other group that comes back and bites us later, I think that's still valid. Any other suggestions for?
Could be a progress clock on somebody, the threat like escalating or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like an alarm.
Yeah.
That'd be, yep. Anything else? Cool. What do you
Sounds
think?
like a lot of fun.
Which one of those would you like to take?
Actually, which one do you want to offer?
Oh, I think they're all on the table. Yeah.
Okay. I like the progress clock because I think it'll push the excitement, and other
Yeah.
people can also work against that clock or work with that clock.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll start a 4 o'clock to lock the place down, basically.
Fantastic.
All right. Let's go ahead and roll. That is 3 dice. Is that right?
Yeah, that's 3 dice. Ooh, 2, 2, 4.
Ooh, that is
Yeah.
a 4. Cool. So again, you do it with a consequence. So yeah, so you get into the temporary building, one of those the long structures there, like the foreman's kind of shed. And you're looking for a computer or something to.
Yeah. Mark froze for a second.
Yeah, how do you get in? I think the guards are distracted. Oh,
Okay.
are we back?
Yeah. So I think you asked how I got in to the building.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, how do you get into the building?
Yeah. So I think what happens is the guards all start to run. They leave 1 or 2 in place. They're not incompetent, but most of the guards are pulled off to chase after reminks. And I go from silently from building top to building top, and slip in through one of the upper windows.
Mhm.
So I'm already at an upper tier of this warehouse, an upper floor of this warehouse where the office would be. And I slip onto like a little catwalk and slide my way on into the office, silently open the door, and there's the computer I'm looking for.
Yeah. And I think the complication is that there is someone sitting at the computer.
Ah.
And they just look like an office person. They're not heavy at all. What are Svava and Devil Wolf doing at this point? Just hanging out?
I think I'm at the top of a crane or something, like watching through binoculars and like spotting the guards and trying to guide the others.
Cool.
Yeah, that sounds very Asgardian to climb a mountain. So, what is my niche in this group going to be? Could I just be like dressed up as a laborer and actually doing labor on the docks?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Um, and just being on scene in case I'm needed, I guess is what I'm going to go for. What do y'all think? You think that would work well, or?
Yeah, I don't think you need to reveal that until it's important.
Right.
At least now I'm going by my blades knowledge. So if this game may have different assumptions, but they're generally it's undefined where you are and what you're doing until you show up, and then you can just at worst case you have to do a flashback to like explain how you came to be where you are. But generally you can just we planned it this way and now I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, I guess then I am Schrodinger's person at this point.
On deck. Great. So the Nighthawk, uh, your tell me what Nighthawk's outfit looks like.
Yeah, so basically, it's skin tight black leotard kind of thing. Doesn't really reflect the light. Um, there are enhanced goggles so that I get a readout and I can see better, especially in the dark. I find that's an advantage. And there's not pockets, but like things attached to the suit itself that I can pull off and use.
Mhm. Cool. So that showing up behind someone in an office at night is terrifying. The tech at the computer, the office person, the warehouse office, um, like I don't think they hear you, but they sense something is behind them and just look around. Um, you have snuck successfully, so they don't see you yet, but they're definitely at the keyboard.
So let's see if we can't get this to work. How about if we do a flashback that Devil Wolf and I have a signal, that this is how she would put out a call for, you know, in case there's people inside the building, put out a call for people to exit the building.
Hmm. Like a
Are you okay
fire
with that,
alarm or
Kai?
something.
So I'm there to save like innocents.
You are there to get workers out of the building if needed.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I think this would be a flashback to engage that Devil Wolf is there, that Rain is there, and that we've set up a plan ahead of time.
Okay.
How would you like to do that?
I think what's going to happen is uh there's going to be a container being moved, and like I'll make the something snap and it falls, and then like everybody rushes to help out with that, I think.
Let's say that container actually has something that's maybe dangerous, like some liquid or gas or something like that, so that um people rush to help with it, but also other people leave the area.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that works for me.
And I think that what this flashback looks like on screen is, I think that Reminx is helping set you up with this dock worker, sneak in kind of thing, deception. And after that, you get a jumpsuit and all that kind of stuff, and the ID to let you be a dock worker. And then I take you aside and I say, okay, and here's the signal. If things go south, you need to make sure that there's a distraction that will pull people to your area. How much do you think that uh flashback should cost?
It sounds like a one.
Okay, I'll take that.
Yeah. Cool. So Devil, how do you engineer this container going down?
Um, well, I've got Tinker.
Yeah, I think we could say you just do it. I think that's what the cost of the flashback is. So we can just describe what that looks like.
Okay. Um, so I like the container is being moved, and as it's being moved near the dock, it's not it's being lowered as it goes, like through the pendulum move or whatever. And I move up and touch it, and just some energy flows out, and one of the links um, cracks, pops, and the thing goes flying. And I think my goal is to make sure that it causes damage but doesn't like actually hurt people.
Yeah. That may be a roll, in fact, then.
Yeah. Maybe smash.
Yeah, I think Smash or Tinker would do for you, whichever you prefer.
Okay. Well, Tinker I have a die in, Smash I don't. Um
Yeah, I think that's just a difference of like what it looks like when you do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let's go with Tinker. And I'll say that um it's just a moment of like trying to decide which is the weakest link in the chain.
Mhm.
And that'll be a Tinker die. Um
Like to push or take a devil's bargain.
I'll push because we've had so many devil's bargains already. Um unless there's help, but I don't think there's anybody who can help. I actually know you
Oh, Faba's up on a crane right now, right?
yeah, like she could tell
Yeah.
me like when like help me get into spot into the space,
Spot
right?
for you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
perfect. All right, that's 2 dice. I will
Cool.
I will take that.
All right.
Isn't that
And
3? Are you still pushing yourself?
oh, I guess I could do both. Yeah. All right, thank you. Yeah,
Cool.
all right. I love
Very
it.
nice.
All right. And got a 4.
Another 4. Wow, 4s all across the board. Cool. So you do it. Severe harm and serious consequence, reduce effect.
I mean, it might hurt me, right? It might. So maybe someone like at the last second, it looks like someone's going to get hurt by it, and so
Ooh, and
I
you have
get.
to push them
I
out of
mean,
the way or something.
yeah, I have to push them out of the way, and then which is what would really get people out of there is if they see a dock worker that's been pinned or something like that. It's not what I wanted, but I think it makes the most sense. So,
Yeah, I like that.
was this risky? Was this desperate?
This is desperate still. Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I will take my experience point, and uh, what's the consequence then? I guess
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah. So I guess the consequence is you see it, shift and creak and then plummet, and there are workers underneath that it will impact unless you do something. So how do you get them out of the way?
um uh
I could protect maybe. Like I could resist the consequence for you
Mm.
because I could like swing down from that
Mm.
crane and knock the container like a bit off course so that it doesn't land on the workers.
I think I could just barrel into them, right?
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I was just gonna say like something like "Ak, you buggers, pay more attention." And I kind of football slam into them as a little, 5 foot Scottish girl. Um,
Um, under what conditions do you turn into a wolf?
well, I'm not doing that anymore.
Oh, you're not doing that at all anymore. Okay, cool.
That particular thing. I've got the
So
character, but
wolf is
it's
metaphorical at this point. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, we'll figure out what my mutant ability is some other time. But like
Cool.
I'm going to keep this character, but I'm not going to be a shapeshifter so that we can respect Rich's character a lot more. Which I'm all for. I like that. So maybe I knocked the level 3 harm down to a level 2 harm.
Yeah,
By
that sounds good.
okay. Uh, but I still need to roll prowess, right?
Um, to what we're doing.
I rolled a 4.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah.
Um,
So
there are
yeah,
people in the way.
so
I
you would
want
need
to
to roll
resist
prowess to
that.
get. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So that's 2 dice, and then I take the resilience of the difference. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I rolled a 3, so I'll take
Cool.
3 resilience. And I take a level 2 harm.
Yeah. Or level 1, we said. Yeah.
So it goes from level 3 to level 1. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What does that harm look like on you?
I think the container knocks me, like
Mhm.
sends me flying towards the warehouse where all the people are, and I make a really I'm just making as much noise as possible at this point.
Cool.
So I guess knocked silly will be my less
Love it.
effect.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Cool. Love it.
Um,
So that's the distraction that Night Hawk needed.
yeah, and everyone will start rushing out of the building to
Cool.
check it out / evacuate. What's Nara up to at this point? Besides running away.
Yes, she ran away, jumped, bounced a little bit, and then this terrible, actual good distraction happened. Exactly. So, I think she pops on does the Avengers point to her ear, calm. Hey, are we still trying to gather information, or should I just go?
I love it.
Has the person in my area left?
Yeah, I think what happens is when that the container full of whatever hazardous material goes down, alarms go off, like the GTFO alarms, and they like get up and grab a backpack and okay, heading out. So you're now alone in the office.
Okay, and so what you hear is silence for a little while as Nighthawk doesn't want to compromise his position and is expecting, Sava or Devil Wolf to reply, but they're busy and says,
Yeah.
in progress, gathering the information, distraction has been good, keep it up.
Okay. She'll try to climb up and get back in the game.
Okay, cool. I don't think I have anything specific for that. So let's jump back to the Nighthawk.
Before we do that, one of the consequences I think from all that distraction stuff should be advancing that clock.
Good. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah.
Yeah. Because we should be under pressure and this is dangerous.
Yes, you're so right.
Yeah.
Yes,
cool. So you are at the computer. It has been signed out when they left. How are you getting information off of it?
Yeah, so I think this would be a tinker roll to see if I can pull data off of it. And I'll use one of my gadgets, my ultra fancy smartphone looking thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be a tinker roll.
Yeah.
And I can push myself. I don't think I can get help in this. I don't know that there's anything else I could do. I could hear a devil's bargain, but I'm not sure. I think we want this information one way or the other.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I don't know if this is a good devil's bargain or not, but maybe you would have to take the whole computer with you.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that it would be obvious to someone who checked that someone had been there to get the information, and taking janking the hard drive would definitely do that.
Okay, I wasn't expecting to take a devil's bargain, but that's too much like Into the Spider-Verse. I'm absolutely going to do that just because it's hilarious.
So you have to remove the hard drive. Yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah.
The password was like 15 long or something like that.
Fuck it. All right. Got one tinker. That's one for the bargain. Are you gonna push yourself?
I did, yes.
Okay.
I'll push myself, so that's 3 dice.
All right.
Oh, and I got
that's
6.
a 6. Great.
Nice.
Yeah. So you go to the keyboard no, bam, and just pop open the case and grab the hard drive out and shove it in one of your little knot pockets.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be as easy as that. I think it's like I've got to carry this thing around and I'm trying to like zip tie it around my waist or something like that. It's awkward.
Nice.
And then I'm going to slip back out.
Cool. So I assume you tell everyone you got the thing.
Yeah, time to skedaddle.
Okay. What does skedaddling look like for y'all?
Nero was climbing up. I imagine like it's a dock, so she's climbing up one of the things and like got a couple splinters, and then we got it. We go. Oh, good. She'll just drop back and rubber bounce. That works good. And then she's going to scramble over that boat and try to get the hell out of Dodge.
Cool. I think that's easy to do for you. What about the rest of y'all?
I think I just like I imagine this crane was like at the edge of the dock area that we were investigating. So I just drop straight down and then like take off, run away.
I think I get taken to some sort of infirmary,
Ooh.
and I need to escape, like sneak out or something like that. What do y'all think about that?
Are you just narrating that you then also escape, or are you
I'm
trying to set up a new scene? Or
I'm just asking, do y'all think I should roll for that, or should I just escape?
I think you can, like, probably people will check on you and then be like, yeah, you're just a little bashed up, you're fine. You could probably just walk away from that if you want to.
Okay. Can I also take like the not well contained medical records right next to me or something like that as I go?
Ooh. I don't even know if it requires you going to an infirmary. I think people like would just check on you on the
Oh,
ground.
okay. That's
And
right.
be
Because
like,
I'm knocked up. Okay.
yeah, you're just a little bashed up.
Well, then I just tell them, hey, I'm going to go to the infirmary and just check with the doc, make sure I don't have a concussion. And everybody's like, okay. And so I just head to my motorcycle and leave.
Cool. And then I assume Nighthawk just slips into the shadows like a
Slinks
bat.
away, and I think what we see on screen is we see the drone was keeping track of everyone, and once everyone's safe, Nighthawk slips back, and you see him heading off on his own.
Nice. I think that was a simple, straightforward mission we just did. Great. Sweet. So I guess we just go to post mission stuff. Where is it here? Is it on the sheet?
There's an ending a mission in the rules.
Yeah. No, it's not on our sheet there. Okay, let's go back to the rules then.
Yeah.
We're having an actual book. It's nice. Characters, team, missions, ending a mission. Cool. We only take that clock once. Well, the end. Nope. Is it on the summary sheet? Heat and fallout. Doesn't look summary there. See if I can find it. Heat and fallout. There we go. Cool. Fall clock. Where? I'm not seeing the part where we get heat and all that. Rewards. Okay, cool. I think we got it. A successful mission generates both reputation and resources. Sweet. So it looks like you earn 2 rep for the mission straight up. Those. Marked on the rep tracker. The mission was against someone of a higher tier, so that's +1. I think they were just a tier 1, so we'll get an extra one there. Did you keep the mission completely secret? Yeah. I mean, you weren't exposed though.
it was
Oh,
known
it was
that
it was
people,
known that something did there. Yeah,
yeah, there was a
Yeah.
fake guard that they know about, and then there was an accident, and then there was a part of a computer is missing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you feel like any of that is a reputation boost?
Oh no,
Or-
no. I think that'll be heat.
Yeah.
Something's going on. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The team earns resources based on the nature of the mission. Cool. Feels like. Do you feel like this is minor or small? You got your hands on something useful, or you acquired stuff you could use.
I'm not clear on what resources represent in the game.
Yeah. So resources are stuff you can use for stuff.
Hmm.
I need to look up exactly
I
what it's
think,
for, but it's relative. It's kind of analogous to creds, basically.
and vaguely, what I would say is that the information that we stole from the computer hard drive is going to be resources.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
something we can use.
Yeah. I'm gonna say, since you didn't get on the radar of some people there, I think we're gonna have to get 2 res for that. 2.
Okay.
Cool. This does not have a nice checklist. Heat is generated during a mission as a consequence of a failed roll, and so on. How much?
Some.
Some.
What was the tier of the enemy?
Tier 1.
So 1. I don't know. I'm just trying to give an answer here.
Yeah.
So,
Doesn't seem like
the
it says
rules you
anything.
just read, Mark, said something along the lines of heat is generated due to failed rolls during a mission,
Yeah.
which
It
is
can be
different
a
from regular blades.
consequence.
It basically says the GM has the final say.
Hmm.
Because in
Um,
blades, it's you go through a little checklist, don't you?
yeah. Oh, it looks like maybe I was doing this part wrong. It seems like heat is generated during a mission, and then it's spent at the end to generate the fallout.
Ah.
Okay. I'm looking at. I looked up resources in the book. Resource one example is a modest piece of technology. Resources 2 is a fine weapon, spell, high-tech device, or piece of art. So I think this tends more towards 1 than 2, probably. But yeah.
It says to give 2 for a minor score, or
Oh, okay.
job. So we'll go for
Cool.
2, and if we need to change it, we can fix it
Well,
up.
I think let's say that we got 2 minors. One minor is the ability is the hard drive thing that we got. The other minor is the fact that we got eyes on like a boss and all that kind of stuff, so that remakes can potentially infiltrate like a higher level person now.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. What's 3 items on the list?
I'm looking up
Oh, I
it
see.
just because.
Yeah. So I did not explicitly generate heat during the mission. However, I think I am going to cash in that the clock tick for heat. And yeah, this doesn't have as clear a checklist as this place does.
I would almost go back and we could talk through it, and you could say, "Hey, what do you think is fair for the amount of heat that we generated during that process?"
Yeah. So
So
the
the
things
clock
that
tick
happened.
makes complete sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So Naro got made at the beginning.
That's true. And threw us in a desperate position. There should be some heat from that.
That's true. Yeah. So we'll say this 1 heat for that. Nighthawk snuck in successfully. We had to create the diversion to get the tech out. We'll call that heat 2. I think that's. I don't think anything else really would generate heat there, right? So let's say 2 heat there. And then I get to spend heat for 1 heat on a segment of a Fallout clock. Do, 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 do. So
And
that
from
means
what I'm reading,
yeah,
the Fallout clock is some type of consequence. They have an example that,
yeah,
for example, if the PCs just destroyed downtown in a major battle, the GM might propose a clock where city council calls for legislation to regulate superhumans. So
yeah,
basically, this is something bad that happens because of what we've been doing. There can
yeah,
be multiple clocks going at the same time, and the GM has final say, but he should ask the players what kind of Fallout they're interested
yeah. So and it has a list of potential fallouts, uh, personal, team, profession, city, and so on. I have some ideas, but is there any specific fallout that you would be interested in seeing from this?
I mean, we've been poking at some kind of criminal organization. Them poking back would
Yeah.
make sense. Like they send some hitman or something after. They send Bullseye after us or something, or some other low rent.
Yeah, I think at
Fun.
this point it's more of an investigation. So they send someone, they put someone on to follow up to see who's
Maybe like Kingpin is involved. That would
yeah,
not be a difficult thing to imagine.
yeah, yeah,
So
Well,
maybe
someone equivalent.
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, you said investigation. One thing that it could be is that they start putting screws on the neighborhood. Like
Mm,
they put screws on all the businesses and everything like that, making it more difficult for business to occur or that kind of thing. Yeah.
yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and do a. How big are the fallout clocks? I think I'm gonna start off with a 4 o'clock. For they are investigating you, and I will specify who they are. Shoot. Cool. So that is Fallout there. You got your rep and resources, and think I think that's all we need to do for that. Cool. Do we want to go into a little downtime phase, or do we want to take a break first?
Take
I
like
wouldn't
5.
mind taking a break.
Yeah.
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 Let's take 5.
Cool.
All right. Um, let's talk about downtime stuff a little bit, I guess. Downtime activities are similar but a little bit different. It looks like we can recover harm, recover resilience, rehabilitate image, acquire assets, train, and do project clocks. Anyone have anything they would like to do for starters?
So I've got a couple of things.
Yeah.
The first thing I'd like to do is I'd like to take one of the bonds that we posted in the Slack,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to apply it to Devil Wolf, to Rain.
Mm.
Rain, I think you said you wanted someone to spend one on you, which is Nighthawk will protect Devil Wolf from anything, even themselves. Is that right?
Nice. I
Yeah, that'd
love
be
it.
great. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'll take that. And I think the way that this goes with downtime time activities is I'm going to see if we can't spend some time recovering our resilience. How does that work? Because in the past it was spending in Blades it's spending vices.
Yeah. So the way it works here, I'm just looking at it. It involves your downtime clocks. So so everyone adds a segment to each downtime clock before we do any downtime actions. They invite the other players to interact with your character's unique backstory, and the clock concept comes into play once the clock is filled, or when you choose to cash it in. And the way that works is cashing in the clock. I was just looking at it. Where is it? When that happens, the owner of the clock can play out the scene there, and I think that is where you recover resilience from. That seems like a lot. I'm not sure if that's true. Recovering resilience. Oh, and you can also just do a die. Recover resilience by rolling a die. You can recover more by cashing in a downtime clock, full or not, with each filled segment worth 1 resilience. That seems like a lot. So you have a couple of downtime clocks here already. Hunting down the cyber thief, and how can I get the team to trust me?
So I would normally tick one of those. Is that right? To start the downtime?
Everyone takes 1 tick on all of their downtime clocks. So
Okay.
1 or 2 clock.
So I need some downtime clocks.
Yes.
Is what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Same
Yeah.
here. And I'm not sure because I'm looking at the examples and they're all questions.
Yeah, so they are, let me go back to where.
Because it's like, what do you still owe? And I don't understand what that means. Like, when I fill out the clock, does that mean I get the answer to that question? Or
Yeah, so during character creation there, get to that part.
because they're like, who do you butt heads with? I don't understand how advancing that clock, what that means.
I would just to make things up, I would suggest if you're trying to see who you butt heads with and you advance that clock, you're stirring things up and being antagonistic with other team members or an NPC that you choose. And where you fill that clock out, it's like, this is how I bring the hammer down on that person.
That's when we answer those questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and like one of the example I kind of think of is it's like the Peter Parker clock. It's like, am I still getting in trouble with my job? And when the clock fills up, then gets chewed out or gets fired again or whatever, and then you get your ticks from that. So it's basically like something that some conflict that's essential to your character that we'll get to see kind of happen and evolve. So it looks like Nighthawk's one of those is, how can I get the team to trust me? And I get when the clock is cashed in, one or the other, we get to see bits of things that either do or don't help the team trust them. Does that make a little bit more sense? That is my reading, which may not be accurate.
Yeah. Okay, so they're tied to recovery. Yeah. This is what you do instead of indulging your vice. Okay. Then I understand what they're for. It's not really about the answer. It's about having something to do. Okay. Got it. So how long are these clocks supposed to be?
I think they're all 4 clocks.
Okay.
So I need help with this. Like, I think once I do it once, I'll be able to do it again. I'm just trying to.
I also need help, Kai,
Yeah.
in case you're feeling bad about needing help. I don't quite.
I'm picking, but one of mine. One question I saw here is, what training do you need? Because that feels like something that's relevant to my character. Like, what do I need to become better at to function in the team?
Yeah.
So I imagine that scenes related to that would be like maybe sparring with one of the other characters, or asking them what I need to what I need to do, or being in a situation where I realize that, oh, I can't do this thing, I need to get better.
Yeah, and there's a list of the downtime clock questions on the cheat sheet. There's a page of those.
So I think for me,
where's the cheat sheet?
Well, let's see. It's posted anywhere else? Who posted it? Yeah, it's not on there. One moment while I find where I got that from. Oh, I wrote this. The thing I'm wondering about is because it seems like you can cash it in at any time, which and you get you get resilience back according to how many ticks there are. So I'm not clear what the advantage is to like filling up a clock, I guess.
The thing that I read in the rules on the character keeper is if you complete it, then I would suggest you have a scene showing the resolution of that. How can I get the team to trust me? Then I, say, let's have a scene and let's talk about it and see which way that falls. If I have 3 ticks in it and I say I want to cash that in, I can cash that in. I don't get that scene. There's no trust scene that I wanted to develop, but I can take those 3 ticks off of my resilience. That sound right?
Yeah, that sounds right mechanically. I'm wondering how that supports like the character, like the play of it, the conversation.
There's a reference for downtime clock scenes in the book, so I'll look at that.
And I'm sorry, Kai, I think I cut you off. You were starting to talk about your downtime clocks.
Yeah, so I was thinking maybe mine would be who's going to win control, like Rain or Satana. And then as I build towards it, like it doesn't have to be a permanent thing, but like, I turn heel for a while and then it has to be dealt with and I have to deal with the consequences and fallout and the trust and all that kind of stuff. So does that make sense? Or am I going in the wrong direction altogether?
That sounds right. I would suggest that's too big.
That sounds right, yeah.
You might want to pick a small thing like how can I get the upper hand on Satana for a while or something like that.
Yeah, because
Okay.
this feels like all the melodrama of typically the X-Men, like all the little relationship stuff and all of that non-mission stuff that happens in the comic.
Could it
Yeah,
be...
it feels like the clock should be about the scale of drama as like the stuff that happens during a fight scene.
Since Nighthawk has the bond with me, or the thing that I don't know if we have bonds in this or not. What about if it was something like when will I need help? When will I fall? When will I fail? Or something like that. When will I be overcome? Or like and then he could come and save me? Or
maybe
not?
something like that like in what ways do I show control or something like that, so we can see like little like snippets of that stuff happening.
Okay, all right.
Feel bad?
How do I show control? That's the question. And then
yeah
okay, all right.
I found the page on recover resilience and downtime talks. And is it okay if I just read a bit from the book? I haven't read it,
yeah,
so just
please.
So each player has 2 4-segment downtime clocks on their character sheet. At least one is personal, relating to their origin, profession, or someone important to them. The other is encouraged to be team related. Personal clocks can be for things like getting fired for chronic lateness, losing a lover, or not being able to tell them your secrets, for not being able to tell them your secrets, or having your parents evict you because they think you're a drug dealer. Okay. Team clocks can be about your character challenging another team member's leadership or even temporarily leaving the team. It could mean the team going broke and needing to move in together or to a different, smaller HQ. Each downtime, one segment is added to each downtime clock before any actions are taken. Downtime clocks invite the other players to interact with your character's unique backstory. The clock's main concept comes into play once the clock is filled or when a player chooses to cash it in a manner of their choosing. When that happens, call attention to it as the player and owner of that clock at an opportune moment during downtime and play out any scenes that arise. These scenes are narrated by the owner of the clock and are meant to be short and sweet affairs, though if other players are interested in interacting with it at the table, then there's no reason not to play out a scene or two in detail.
Mhm.
It is up to the player whether they take any actual mechanical harm or lose any resilience during these scenes, and they always recover the appropriate number of segments. Which is all to say they're free to narrate a scene where a sentinel rips them from their bedroom while they're unaware and sleeping, but they manage to blast it apart before being squeezed to death with all without engaging any of the mechanics of the game in any way. Once the downtime clock is resolved in play, the player sets up a new one. It can be a result of the fallout from the last one or even the same thing again. The government task force tracks you down and forces you to leave your home or you turn into a werewolf, etc. Or it can be a new
Turn into a werewolf?
For example. And then there's to recover resilience, you roll a die, you recover a certain amount. You may recover more resilience by cashing in a downtime clock, full or not, with each filled segment of the clock worth 1 resilience. You may cash in both clocks if you can work it into the story. You will recover somewhere between 1 resilience, 1 to 3 on a die roll, no clocks cashed in, and 11, 6 die roll, 2 full clocks. Yeah, because the 6 is 3,
3 plus 8
without
11,
spending
yeah.
any additional rest to boost your result. And you can boost it to a critical with a resource. Okay.
Right.
Recovering resilience costs downtime activity, whether or not you cash in a clock. So basically, the clock is an excuse to have a scene in the fiction that's not really mechanical, but says something about your character or the situation.
And what's the difference between doing it after I've got 1 tick and after I've got 4 ticks?
You get back more resilience the more ticks there are.
Yeah, you have to spend a downtime action regardless of how much you get. So depending on what your resilience looks like, it may be worth waiting for your clock to fill up so you can automatically get more, but you will always roll a die to get some back either way. It's a little bit
And you'll always put at least 1 tick. Let's see, did you put 1 tick on each of them or 1 tick on one of them?
1 tick on each, it looks like.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do I show control? Is my clock. I'll add a tick.
Like personal clock, and then maybe have another one that releases something with the team. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
The team clocks in the link that Mark shared in the chat, it's on page 17. Those are really good questions. So I see one of the questions in here, I think, for the team is what kind of training do I need? Which I think goes right into what Anders had said.
Yeah, that's the one I picked out.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Let's do something by the books. Okay. Oh. I like the who holds you accountable question. Or why do I feel hunted?
Did you say page 17?
On the reference sheet that was linked in the chat. They're
I'm on it. 17?
In the book, it's page 87.
Oh, downtime clock. Okay. So I saw the header downtime clocks, and my brain was just skimming right over it. Okay.
I did exactly the same thing the first time I saw it.
Yeah,
but once Mark pointed it out, I was like, oh, those are really good questions. So
Yeah,
like,
those are actually great.
yeah, under family, there's why are you a superhero?
Mhm.
I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah,
It's less of a solvable question and more of a scene prompt. I know
Yeah,
someone's already
exactly.
said it, but
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
mm,
But they're good.
Interesting.
I like that.
So, but still, to step through the mechanics of this, we're entering downtime. I have
Yeah.
the question, who holds you accountable? I add a tick to it. I
Mhm.
choose not to cash it in, but I do want to take a downtime activity to relieve resilience.
Mhm.
What do I do now?
You roll one die.
You just roll a die. Yeah.
A single die?
A
Ugh.
single die. A single die, and on a 1 to 3, you get back 1 resilience. 4, 5, 2,
Oh.
6, 3.
Yeah.
Well, that's
And you
even
can
worse.
push. It's
Yep.
terrible. You don't. You get very little if you're not cashing in your downtime cost.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. I would not have pushed myself as much as I did if I had known this. Okay. All right. So to and what kind of things do I do narrate that are going to recover resilience? Are these things like reconnecting with family, or are they?
I think you only narrate if you actually cash in a clock.
Yeah, I think otherwise it's
Okay.
just like, you rest.
I see. I take a nap.
Yeah.
All right. Rich, where are you on this?
I'm just now understanding it. So that's good. I think I want to do something origin and scroll ish.
Who's back from the future? I love it.
Yeah, that was very cool.
Do you have a counterpart?
Mm.
I think I'll go with origin related. Why were you exiled or cast out?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Really good.
Thanks.
And then we both need a team one, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
We do.
So just something only on the team column. Okay.
Well, I think they suggest that, and I think the reason they suggest that is to bring, at least at the beginning, to bring everybody together.
Yeah,
Before we start develop that team.
yeah.
I don't
yeah.
think it's required, once we get more experience in what's going
No,
on.
cool.
Yeah.
But I'm down for it.
Yeah, it says that at least one of them should be personal, and the other one is encouraged to be team related. But I mean, you can make up your own questions, obviously. But these are very good suggestions.
This helps so much.
Yes.
This is one place where they have really good examples, because the examples for the powers, those were like, I don't know, but these are super good.
Oh my gosh, why did a previous member leave? That's harsh.
Ooh.
If you don't take it, I will.
Take it.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with something that's more personality wise. Who do you wish was your friend?
Oh. Actually, I could probably do who do you butt heads with. I like that one.
It is good.
Who do I butt heads with?
Oh, I'm taking who is desperate for your help.
Oh, nice.
And
but
we don't have to these.
Yeah, but we don't have to answer the question until we do the scene.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay. So it's kind of like, you don't narrate everything before the heist.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay.
And did I understand this correctly? Basically, whenever we cash it in, that's the amount of resilience that we get back, but we do the scene regardless. Is that correct?
You get you get that back, and you get
Okay. So the only benefit to delaying that scene is getting more resilience back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And getting more resilience per downtime spent.
Yeah, that's true.
Whenever you cash in a clock, you get a die roll and the number of ticks.
Yes.
When you do the activity to regain resilience,
Mm-hmm.
you roll the die, and that determines something, and then you decide if you want to cash in either or both of your clocks.
Okay.
Yeah. So you could just not do your clocks and only do the roll, or you could do the roll plus add a bunch for your clocks, but it costs 1 downtime activity either way.
So let's say, for example, I'm in a situation where I have 5 resilience that have been used, and I say, hey, I want to do a downtime action. I roll a die, and I get 2 off. So I've still got 3 left. And I say, hey, I'm going to do another downtime action, and I roll a die, okay, and I take 1 off. So I've got 2 left, and I say, oh, at that point, I can also cash in a clock. We can answer that question. I can take another off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, or however many you have on it. I think when you cash in a clock, do you take all the ticks off at once, or can you choose how many ticks? Yeah.
And if I'm not
get
mistaken,
one.
I read that it said you either take all the ticks off or you can refresh it to a different clock.
Yeah.
So you can keep the same clock and just keep running it up.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh,
And it depends on
okay.
whether or not you feel like you've answered that question.
Yeah.
Andesh, you reacted as if you. What was that about though? Ooh.
I figured you would replace the clock every time you cashed it in, but maybe I misunderstood that.
I thought that too, but I think I read somewhere. I don't know where. Yeah. Under the recover resilience, it says you may cash in 1 or both downtime clocks at any time to play out a relevant scene. When you do, reset or replace the clock. So it's reset or replace
Oh,
it.
reset or replace. Yeah. Cool. So maybe you get some information, but you haven't fully resolved the issue, and so you reset it instead of replace it.
Yeah. So you can keep revisiting that part of the character, or you can resolve it and then do something new.
Which is interesting because it means that clock, even though it's only 4 ticks, it's a short clock, but you can continue that pathway of advancement in order to expound on that part of the character.
Yep. Yeah.
And when you feel like you've gotten to an answer, you cash it in and then you switch to another one.
Yep.
Interesting.
And
I think this is my favorite innovation part of this game.
Yeah.
And
really cool.
to be honest, I was really confused whenever during character creation it said make a downtime clock for yourself. And I'm like, I don't know what it means. I'm just going to write something down and get close enough. But I agree, this is super interesting.
And I don't think you can put extra ticks on the clock. It's just every downtime you get 1 tick on each clock.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that's. Yeah, I think so.
So you're pretty limited in how much resilience you can get back.
Yeah.
Because essentially it's 2 per downtime period plus up to 2 rolls.
Yeah.
If you
or
spend
more if
all
you want to
the
spend. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, I've only spent 1 resilience, so I can just bank these and cash them in sometime later.
Oh, Devil Wolf, you're in a world of hurt, girl.
So I knew the answer to this, and I don't think I know the answer anymore. What happens when the resilience hits the top?
In Blades, you get knocked out
Trauma.
of the scene. I don't know what happens here. And you get trauma.
Do we
You
get trauma,
trauma
in this
in this
game
one too
as well?
Yeah, you
okay,
do trauma.
Cool. I thought I read something different, but I think I made it up instead. So
no, I remember that one pretty specifically. So I'm very confident.
I think I also saw something.
I thought it was something to do with the powers, but I can't find it anymore.
So one thing about resilience, which is different, I see that you start with 10 and you can get more by training resilience.
Yeah, you can spend 1 XP to gain an additional resilience box.
Yeah.
But to a maximum of
15.
I think it was,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Maximum of 15, and you can do it max once per downtime, I think.
Sure, of course.
I will say, it's up to you to have the box. I'm not going to do that work.
Yeah, I had to do some text wrapping on my downtimes because my questions were too long.
Yeah, I had to do the same. I didn't even know what they were for, so it's like this.
So short. I rolled a 4 for my resilience. That gives me 2 back.
That's correct. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Stephen, did you want to change one of your downtime clocks? Because right now one is like hunting down the cyber thief that ransomware at the hospital. Which
Yeah,
feels like
too specific.
yeah,
I'll
it
look.
feels like it's
Yeah,
less about you and more like a thing.
yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, if you want to change that up to be more character driven, that's cool.
And I'm gonna roll for downtime as well to see if I can recover.
Cool.
I got a 3, which is also 2.
Blink, blink.
Okay.
Do you do, because in Blades you set up some positive and negative status with other factions?
Yeah, I still need to fill in that part. I wanted to do a little bit of world building for us first before.
Cool. Because I was
that
thinking of
happens.
doing the, what's it called, rehabilitate image or something.
Okay.
What did Mark freeze?
Yeah.
It's very
I think it
dramatic.
froze for a
Oh,
second.
there you back. You froze on us.
There we go.
Yeah, I was thinking of doing the rehabilitate image downtime activity because, yeah, that and maybe some training.
Cool.
But I need to figure out with who. But yeah, sorry, you froze when you were answering my question about the.
Oh,
you
yeah.
said something about world building, and then
Yeah, I wanted to fill in the factions a little bit more after we did a round, just to sort of get a better feel of who we're working with instead of just throwing a bunch of random ones on.
cool.
So I'll have that done before next time.
Then I'll just leave that for now and deal with that some other down.
Cool.
I wanted
Yeah,
to say something that just came to mind. If we're in a situation where we want something to have happened in the world that's not really directly related to us, we could probably say something like, in a flashback, it's the same thing as the editor's box that says, see Spider-Man 383, and we described what happened in Spider-Man 383 that now affects us.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was like, so and so shows up on the scene because they're also like in this crossover storyline or something like that. Not to be used too often, but anyway, thanks. I'll shut up now.
We are getting close to time, I think.
Yeah.
Do we want to wrap this here and like dig into downtime a little bit more when we come back?
Yes, I think that's
Cool.
a good idea.
Yeah. Awesome. Do you want to record Stars and Wishes, or you want to pop off? What do you feel like?
You're the chip. What do you want?
I usually do them on screen. I like to do them. But if
Okay.
folks have strong feelings, I'm good either way.
We should do XP as well.
Yes. Thank you. Let's do XP.
Because I always forgot about that.
Yeah. Cool. Let's start with Svava then. Svava.
Yeah.
Let's see. For each one below.
No desperate actions.
Did you address a challenge with compassion or inspire someone?
I don't think so.
Cool.
What about whenever you tried to save people during that crash? Did you end up doing that?
Yeah, but I didn't do that.
Okay.
Rain did that.
Okay. Did you bring in your downtime clock's origin and profession?
My origin a bit when we talked with the Loki variant, Sylvie, I think.
Yeah. For that. And no issues from no traumas yet.
Yeah. So that's 1 XP.
That is 1 XP.
Cool.
Nighthawk. Did you address the challenge with force or recklessness?
I think stealing the hard drive was reckless.
I agree.
Yeah.
Downtime clock's origin or profession?
Okay, so just to let you know, my new downtime clock instead of the cyber ransom thing was do I have a counterpart? And then the other one is, how can I get the train to trust me? And I think this whole investigation thing was a good way for the team to trust me because I was able to sneak in and get what we were looking for.
Agree. Cool.
Okay.
Let's take 2 altogether for that then.
Fantastic.
Devil Wolf.
Where are my questions? Sorry, I've been scrolling up and down trying to find them.
They're in the rollover on your playbook XP track there.
Oh. Thank you. Okay.
Cool. Did you address a challenge with creativity or solve a problem by thinking outside the box?
You mean thinking outside the container box?
Yeah. I think literally at least one for those.
Okay. I mean, it was on the spot. I don't know about creative. Thinking outside the box. What do y'all think? What, XP? No XP on that one?
At least one for that one.
Okay. All right. 1.
Did you bring in your downtime clock's origin or profession?
Profession.
Okay, 2. And no trauma yet, so that's 2 XP.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And remakes. Did you address a challenge with insight or add an interesting perspective to the scene?
I don't think Narrow just demonstrated interesting insight. She kind of just screwed up a bunch of times.
Oh.
Yeah.
I would say that the insight that you brought was that we could all learn about how to do things. Does that make sense? So basically you were like, oh, I'll sneak in, but we didn't really have a plan about, like, what your ID was or anything like that. Is that right? So I think you were bringing a youthful perspective.
Okay, sure. I will take it. So
I'll take that one.
that sounds good to me.
Did you bring in your downtime clock, origin, or profession?
I think profession.
Yeah.
Because we had the caffeine hazard and we talked about it and where it came from. It was a good centerpiece. So
Cool.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
And no trauma, so that's 2 XP for you. And then team XP. Did we discover something new about the world? Definitely. Did we contend with challenges above our current station? I think so, yes.
Yeah, literally, we went against a tier 1.
Yeah. Bolster your team's reputation or develop a new one.
Fuck up.
Your reputation is strange right now.
So
what do you think?
I could say that we bolstered the reputation being strange in that there was some really chaotic shit that went down in that dock, right?
Yeah, let's take that one. And did we express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the team?
Well, yeah, because like we Svava does the mountain climbing and is lookout, and apparently I'm on the I'm in the mix, that kind of thing.
I'm like figuring out where everyone goes.
Yeah.
And goals. We're trying to figure out how to not die.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, good long-term goal. Cool. Yeah, so that's for team XP then.
Yay.
Awesome.
Our team's gonna level faster than we do.
Yeah. I'm curious. I'm still getting a feel for XP resilience, that whole like.
That's okay. And now we know, or at least we've seen what we need to mile marker out.
In Blades, like when we get creds or whatever, we hand those out to each other. It seems like if we get team XP, we should be able to hand that out to each other too.
Okay, one for you, one for you, one for you.
I mean, we have stash here, which I feel is super weird. But individual resources, that part is strange for me.
Yeah, still need to do a little thinking on that.
I think by the end of this, we're going to have our own version of this game going.
We haven't hacked anything yet. We're just still, but
no, I understand.
We're feeling it out.
We're feeling it out.
So one of the things I wrote down was that on each individual sheet there are resources for people,
Yeah.
and there's a reputation for people. So it seems like there's rep not just for the team, but also rep for each hero.
Yeah, maybe.
Wild.
That's weird.
Yeah.
If you max out on reputation, you have to lead the team and form your own solo comic book.
Yes.
No.
Or
Yep.
you don't have to leave it. You just
You get a mini series.
you get a mini series, and then maybe
Yeah.
it rolls into a solo, or maybe you're in on another team. But you like Wolfie up, you know.
Yeah.
You like Kwasa, you know.
Well, that was the thing. Like when my very first role playing game again was we're in a residential high school. We're playing Marvel Phase Rip, and we're inside the X-Men universe. And if only a certain amount of people showed up, they're like, "All right, well, we're going to do a mini series tonight, and we're going to do just you two characters or something like that." So
Nice.
yeah.
Cool. So I think that's that. Let's roll into Stars and Wishes then.
I don't spot the reputation trap on the when I look at the reference sheets, the individual reputation trap.
Oh, interesting. We'll revisit that.
Yeah.
I'll go first with Stars and Wishes. I star for all of y'all playing, really enjoying doing some more gaming with y'all. This is a really good time. I'm excited to explore all of the stuff that we set up and start building some more solidity to play off of all of the stuff we discovered today. And yeah, really just I guess my big wish, the two big wishes are to discover more about everyone and to get a better handle on all the little bits and pieces moving around for me. Cool. Let's just go in character keep order. So we'll start with Adish.
Cool. Stars to everyone. Everyone gets a star. Yeah, this was super fun. This is the first time in forever that I get to play a long-term superhero game. So that's really fun. And I don't know, individual stuff. I really like Narrow being kind of a bit awkward and not like the cool dashing superhero, but kind of like inexperienced and that sort of thing. And Nighthawk being the more the cool experienced person, and Rain just diving in there and taking risks. I really enjoyed that. And I think everyone has interesting characters, and it was super interesting. I guess that's a wish to see how these downtime clocks and everything works. Yeah, and get to grips with the system, because there are some differences that are very very interesting. So yeah.
Cool, thank you. Nighthawk, Steven.
So I really like, Rich, the way that you embodied the youth and the inexperience of Naro. It's sort of like, she's the sweetheart, right? We're like, oh yeah, that's really nice. And of course. Whenever Kai, whenever you were working on the distraction and you said, oh, I'm gonna touch the box and the little link is gonna glow purple, that really surprised me. And I thought that was such a great narrative way to pull in powers. And Anders, I really appreciate you reading the rules to us so that we could figure that out, because I was like, as you read it, I was like, oh, I was trying to cobble something together from my understanding. I'm like, I think I get that now. Thank you for keeping us on track with that. Wishes, I feel like, just like with Blades, I'll get more experience going forward with this game system, and we'll figure out where we're going and the way that we should do stuff. So I have confidence in that. I'd like to see more power stuff. I realized after we got done, I was like, I snuck around a little bit and used gadgets, but I didn't actually. Those are the simple little powers that I have on my sheet, I didn't do the really strong things like that really brought that out. So I might have to rethink the things that I put under the ones that cost resilience, and then start spending that resilience to actually use the powers.
Cool. Kai.
Yeah, thank you again, Anish, for the rules thing. I guess I've found that the older I get, the more pages there are for rules, the more my eyes cross and I just give up. So um, uh that was super helpful. I was like, thank you. Um yeah, stars. Well, I love starting off with the hard frame, like y'all die, let's rewind thing. Like, perfect. I love it. Um, and uh, I I really felt like we started getting like really interesting like bits of the characters, right? We weren't just like bam, sock, pow kind of thing. It was, you know, you've been caught. How do you react? And um, how do you help the group kind of thing. So stars for all of that. Wishes one. Since I am replacing Rain's mutant ability to turn into a werewolf, I would like people's help or advice on what to replace that power with. Because then I can start defining some of my powers on my sheet a lot better. I don't want to do magic all the time. Like because the magic thing is going to be for me is like this conflict, like with Satana inside of me. Like um I don't want to just be flippant with it. And wishes. Uh, I just imagine if you translate like writing Marvel comics into this, like there has to be all these clocks of people who are going to come and get us at some point. And I just want to like know that that there are these threats out there. Like I want to know who's coming for us and stuff like that. Um, and yeah, that's it. That's where I'm at.
Awesome. And Rich.
It's always hard being the last person doing stars because usually all the good ones have been given out. Because I was sitting on until Kai went the cold open. I was like, oh yeah, I've got the perfect one. How did these fools miss it? But then Kai took it. So dittos for the cold open. I enjoyed that. It was weird and awkward. I love the mysterious, oh no, we're not going to introduce our characters. And then us, the players, figure out, oh wait, we don't have to roll dice. We're just doing the thing. And oh, but there was a gotcha at the end. That was cute. That was a neat little pocket that I enjoyed. I quite liked the building we're doing in. We would like step forward into a scene and then step back and paint a little bit around it, discovering that the caffeine hazard is owned by Alexander. And wait, is it Alexander? Is it Nighthawk? It's Alexander and Nighthawk, and Narrow knows, and therefore Narrow knows about the two. Like all of that unfurling was fun, and it's always fun with you all because we're used to this. Like nobody gets twisted around, and I've learned how to like grasp and hold and let go and grasp and let go. So I loved the Rain. I'm glad you stuck with Rain as a character. I think she's awesome. I love that it's a multiversal Rain. So there's another Rain Sinclair who is a wolf girl in this continuity, probably, and that abuses me. I want to have this is the wish, but like this Spider-Man pointing at each. I want to have the Rain pointing at each other. But we can only do it after Kai has decided what Rain's mutant power. This Rain's mutant power. So, that's. I did do rep. I'm so proud of me. How did I do that? Where did I do rep? Oh, it's for the yeah, I did do rep there. I thought it was for the individual players. I didn't see where that exists. Sorry, I saw a message and I got distracted because I have the attention span of a gnat. I discovered in this game that Remix is young and pretty happy. And I appreciate that I was able to discover that because Stephen came in so defined with Nighthawk. Like I definitely had a vibe for who Nighthawk was. And I'm like, oh yeah, I want to be the pole for Nighthawk because that'll be fun. And I appreciate that. And I look forward to I want to play with that because surprise, Remix wishes that Alexander or Nighthawk or both could be her friend.
Oh,
Didn't see that coming, did you? Anyway, so that's another star that I quite enjoyed. Another star. So, cool background, super cool background.
still
Nice.
working on it, but that's where I'm at right now.
Keep going. It's good work. Had a lot of fun. Really appreciate that we discovered some things. And another star, like the downtime thing and those downtime questions. Wow. Like this went from a okay Blades reskin to no, some thought was really put into this downtime. And this is a super interesting. I mean, it's a treadmill in a way, but there's always an off ramp for it. So I don't know. I'm really digging that as a downtime mechanic, and I'm looking forward to it. If it were a game that was a little more narrative in other ways, I might not like the treadmill bit, but it's comic books. Like we're doing it in a cinematic, but it's comic books, and comic books are for sure. Like, let's just keep tapping that vein. Boy, man or monster, Hulk, boy, Daredevil, drinking his problems, but he's, all this Catholic and who am I good or am I bad? I just keep hitting it, So it's very tropey, and this allows us to pick our own little tropes and do it to death until a new writer has that comic and they decide, oh, this is your conflict. And I think that's cool. Wishes, I already throw one out, but more remix Nighthawk time because I'm gonna grant that wish myself by having it as a downtime thing. So that's fun. I know we're still learning, but Mark, you can go harder on us. I felt like there were a couple of times where we pushed you to go a little harder against us. That's the great thing about the blade system is just make us roll to resist it. Like you can go harder. It's cool. That's it. I know we'll learn more, and you guys hit all the other wishes. So
awesome. Yeah. Sweet. Great time. Yeah. And the star for patience, getting all the rules more under control, I think.
Yeah.
We're all learning. It's a good time. Awesome. I think that's all I've got. So let's wave goodbye.
goodbye, internet.